people will stick you in boxes. They'll call you a genius, or a fraud, or an amateur, or a pretender, or a wannabe, or a has-been, or a hobbyist, or an also-ran, or a rising star, or a master of reinvention. They may say flattering things about you, or they may say dismissive things about you. They may call you a mere genre novelist, or a mere children's book illustrator, or a mere commercial photographer, or a mere community theater actor, or a mere crafter, or a mere landscape painter, or a mere whatever. It doesn't matter in the least. Just keep doing your thing. Hey everybody, as you can see, I am not in the cupboard today. I am here to do a book review on Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic. I read this book literally the weekend it came out. I pre-ordered it so that it was ordered to my house on that first weekend. I was just so amazed by how much it connected with what was happening in my life. I made a huge move and decided to move back home to where my family was after being in other parts of the country for 7 out of the last 8 years since graduating college. And I decided to make this big move, right? Moving back, and I was going to do all those things that I wanted to be doing with my life. And I was stuck. And I wasn't really sure why or how to get out of it. And so I was also listening at the same time to Elizabeth Gilbert's podcast, Magic Lessons, which I found first, and then was like, oh my gosh, I need to order this book, and looked and it wasn't even out yet. So that's when I pre-ordered it. And there was one particular magic lesson where she was talking to a woman about, this woman had felt like she had lost her time to be creative. Like, there's so many things going on in my world. I don't know how I have time to do this. And I loved what Liz Gilbert responded with. And she was like, you have to think about it as if you're having an affair with it. Because people who are having an affair will do whatever they can to see that person they're having an affair with. If they're going to meet in a parking lot and make out, they're going to do it. They're going to do whatever they can to do it. Every spare minute is utilized towards that thing that they want so much. And so why is sometimes our creativity this outlet to do things and be creative? Why is it the thing that we want so much and we don't do anything to actually make it happen? So after hearing that and reading the book, I was like, okay, I need to have an affair. So at the time, this was in September, at the time I was living still with my parents. I had only been back for 3 months. But I felt like there wasn't a place I could go and just be like, ugh. I had put so much pride in my apartment that I had lived in before, and so much joy in kind of decorating it and having my space to do whatever with it. And I didn't really have that yet because I was still at my parents' house. So I went to my grandma's cabin, and it was closed up for the winter. We closed it up, end of September for the winter. And I was like, this is perfect. So I just took one of the spaces and rearranged it, brought a bunch of my art stuff down here, hung it up, and then I had this place to be. So here is a little tour of my space. about 6 weeks, and that was it. So obviously, if I were to ever have a real affair, I would suck at it. But I just loved coming here and feeling like I could just do whatever here, and there were no distractions. There was nothing to stop me from being creative, and so I would, slip away a couple hours here, a couple hours there. As it got in winter, it got a lot harder because did not think about the fact that the reason we closed the cabin in the winter is it's hard to get to. So there were a couple months where I didn't even make it down here at all, but even knowing that it was here was awesome. And then I ended up finding an apartment and moving out. And that also changed how my space was here. But I think the main reason that I wanted to do this video and I wanted to talk about Big Magic is I don't want to tell you what the book is necessarily like trying to get at you, because I think every single person who reads it is going to take something different from it. And I just would encourage you that if you are a creative human, which so many people who are on BookTube are, because you're reading these stories and you're, creating these characters in your head and you're doing these things, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're doing something, you can benefit from reading this book, because she just opens up your mind to thinking about things differently and totally changed how I was thinking about things, because I was able to actually create this space. And I've been coming here quite a lot more the last few weeks, and will be coming a lot more for the next probably month or so, because then I'm going to have to close it up. I'm going to have to take my stuff down and, move the furniture back to the way it is when people come in the summertime. So I'm going to spend as much time here as I can and soak it up and know that this place is always going to be here, even if it's not rearranged and doesn't have all my artwork and, Taylor Swift Polaroids, which I also felt was really important to have in my space. And it's just, I think if you just find a space or find something that is inspiring for you when you want to be creative and do something, I think that's her goal with the book. And like I said, it's different for every single person who opens it up. But I would so encourage you all to check out Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic. I would give it 6 out of 5 stars if that was possible, so I guess we'll just give it a 5 out of 5, because she totally changed my perspective. She totally changed how I view my creativity and what my creativity is worth. It doesn't need to be that thing that I just, do every once in a while because I like it, but I'm afraid to tell people that, hey, I'd rather stay at home and paint on a Saturday or write on a Saturday than go out. I think this place is going to be one of my favorite places to be. Well, this has always been one of my favorite places to be, particularly right here in this particular room, looking at that particular view. But to have it be my creative space is so important. And in this month, I am doing Camp NaNoWriMo, and I'm going to try to write 50,000 words on this book idea that has been in my head for so long, and I just need it to come out. And there's no better place to do it than here, and there's no better motivator or inspiration than reading Big Magic. So thank you for listening to my sort of Big Magic review, but mostly just a discussion about being creative and the importance of being creative. See you next time, in the cupboard, or maybe we'll be somewhere else crazy. I don't know. We'll see.